Welcome back to Holland 44 Operation Market Garden by GMT, the short game playthrough. We're on to turn 8. This is the night turn of September the 19th. That leaves us for 4 turns left, so one whole day remains after this turn. As before with night, there's no air units of course, and no air landings. So we're getting pretty desperate, I think, here on the Allied side. They're not over the Somme Bridge. They haven't even built it yet. They will start this turn. The substantial or big reinforcements have come in for the Germans. They're making a big dent in 1st Airborne, and they're also hard pressing the 101st as well, and I think it's only going to get worse and worse. As an example here, we have some more units from the 107 Panzer Brigade here coming in. The other thing that's been slowly creeping in here has been the 180th Division. Even though it's a low quality, it is substantially so quite substantial in size. These battalions, 7 defence, and they're easily going to get towards Grave before the Allies do, and even a little bit closer as well. There's it's not a lot of movement needed to get in the way, and they'll take some shifting as well. So yeah, it's not looking good, but we will endeavour and see how things go. The artillery resupply phase and the bridge phase for the Allies. The resupply will be two Allied units. Looking at what we have available here, I think it's still going to be the Guards Armoured Division and the brigade here. We don't really need the 50th at the moment. The 11th is already turned over, and the 3rd, although might be useful, wouldn't really be part of a lead formation down there, as there's only 3 units. It's not a priority, and it's not flipped either. So those two are flipped over. On the bridge phase, we can start with the Somme Bridge building. With the we seem to be overstacked there. Maybe that should be 1 hex back. With the bridging unit, they're available. Get this organised in a second. Beyond that, I still think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think that will be repaired either. The one way back on the original canal is fixed. To not a great deal of use, but it's there now. Yeah, also one thing that's going to be happening this turn is the first turn of replacements. So it doesn't happen for the airborne units, but for the other units it does. The 30 Corps and other British units there, they can receive 1 replacement point, as long as they're in supply back to Zone N, which is way back up here. And with the Germans, there's 1 available on the south edge of the board. On the west edge of the board and one on the east edge of the board to be provided 2 units. So the Germans get 2, the Allies get 1, and it only happens on night turn, so it'll be this turn and the last turn of the game. So that'll happen as well. That happens during the movement phase by placing a replacement marker on, like we did with the airborne. And in fact, the airborne do have spare replacements here on the 101st and the 1st British. I think it might be the time to use those as well, to try and rebuild some units. So anyway, I'll having done the bridge and artillery supply, we're onto the movement phase. I'll go through and do what movement I can, and yeah, and then we'll run through it and the subsequent combats. Right, movement done, and we've just added a replacement in to the remnant that was here to bring back the unit into its flip status underneath. Withdrawn the artillery and the supply unit back to the river now, just to keep it out of the way. Not much else you can do in 1st Airborne, really. Likewise with the 82nd, what I've done is I've moved a unit into here to free up the remnant, maybe able to come and help the eventually come and help the breakdown unit sitting in Grave, maybe. And over at 101st and 30 Corps, because they're kind of the same place now, so we've paralleled the river with some motorised infantry, which is now dismounted, protecting the bridge. Hop back over the canal to protect the approaches to the bridge. There's another infantry unit dropped across, and we're going to do an attack here. With the 50th, they've all moved up, so they can start helping with the clearing out the canal side. And we spent our replacement bringing back our Irish Guards tank battalion there, the 9 factor, because, well, I think, you know, the best number of factors coming back. 11th Armoured Area, we've come across the bridge here, and we've also got a dismounted unit coming across, and the Cromwell came screaming down from Eindhoven as well to do an attack here onto Helmand. I also forgot that there was a bridging unit here, so we started to fix this bridge as well, even though this one is actually still operational. And finally, the 3rd British have moved up just to line the canal here. That's about it for the movement. So, one unit I didn't move was moving the artillery up. They will actually be able to get to the combat, so that's great. And yeah, let's do these combats. So the first one down here, we're in a city, so it doubled. That's actually a 20. Ouch. And being attacked with 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 plus 14 is 26. So it's a 1-to-1. We have tank shift though. We also have artillery here from the 11th Armoured Artillery Unit. So that's 2 shifts on top, so it goes up to a 3-to-1. I'll retrieve my dice box, which I flew across the room just a few seconds ago. And the dice, of course. So let's roll that 3-to-1. A 6, good. A good combat there. That's a D1 on 3-to-1. So we could nominate probably the Fallschirmjäger unit for the loss, and then we can attempt a determined defence, I think. And that's on the other table. There's no pluses, so it's just a straight roll. We roll a 1, that's actually a failure with an extra step loss, so not a good roll. With the 1s with the allied on the airborne units for the allies, at least you get the +1 for the elite, so you don't suffer that worst result, you just get a failure. But this is yeah, a failure extraordinaire. So there's a retreat here. I think we can split the retreat, or maybe we should just pop back over the bridge. We do need to go 2 hexes though, so we could stop and take another loss. The only problem is that that 11th Armoured may get across the bridge into Helmand, so I think we'll take the extra loss because we're in a city, so we'll lose that unit. Expensive, but I think the position demands it. And then there's it's a normal advance, I think, for a D1. Yeah, so with road bonus they could have got across if the bridge had held. We'll see actually. So we shall move units in. So we'll move the infantry in first and see what the effect is on the bridge. The rolls are 3, so it is blown. But it wasn't worth the risk, I don't think, allowing the British across. Yeah, exploits can happen here. Yeah, we can get a. I think we'll move back up to here. No, we won't get the road bonus for that. So I think we will. Yeah, road bonus here, and send. Can't use the road bonus because of the. Let me think about this. So we moved this in here. Yeah, I'm not sure it's greatly relevant, to be honest. Move the infantry unit here and the tank unit up here, I think. Yeah. Yep. Okay. That was that combat, and then up in the north we have a combat here over the best bridge. So we've got a lot of halved units here. We have 3, 4 with the halved airborne unit, 4, and then this stack here, 13 halved, is 6, so that's 10, and halved again, it's another 4, so that's 14, 14 to 5, well, that's 2 to 1. We will put in the artillery. Yeah, both of them can reach. We don't get a tank bonus because the tanks are stuck over the canal. So that was 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1. A 4 on 4 to 1 gives us an A1 D1. So we will have to lose a unit. The lead formation was the Guards Armoured. I'm reluctant to take down that unit as it's across the canal. Likewise, I'm a little reluctant to turn that unit over. It might have to be the Cromwell. Yeah, we're only losing 2 factors there. So the Cromwell flips. And this unit is a loss. And I think we'll just retreat him actually. here, bit of disruption. I forgot to put the disruption on that SS unit down in Holland, but that's done now. Okay, so that's combat phase, so we're down to recovery. Recovery would be the 101st Airborne unit here. I think, was there another one? I thought there was another one. Yeah, that was the one here, sorry. No, that's the lot. Okay, and nothing to do on the 82nd, and on the first we just can get rid of the replacement marker here. There's a spent marker in Nijmegen, which is inconsequential. I'll remove that. And oh yes, there's a replacement marker up here as well. So that's all done. Supply phase. So yeah, we still haven't got a way across the canal for supply yet. So within 4 they're supplied, but these guys are not. Yeah, that's all our supply checking. So on to the artillery resupply phase for the Germans. Right, so the German turn, artillery resupply. As it's a night turn, this is the good bit with good bonus the Germans have, is that all their artillery units and supply are flipped back over. So we get the 406th back, we get the 10th SS, we also get the Krauser Artillery Regiment and the Artillery Regiment of the 59th as well. So they're all flipped and ready this turn. Okay, on the bridge phase, I'm not sure there's anything particular to test. No, there's no change in. Well, I don't know with these ones. Yeah, we'll. I don't think the Germans are coming this way. I think it's probably worth bringing the 107th here, so I think we will blow these ones. So that one there is on a 5 is blown, and the one next door is also blown. So that's taking care of that slight anomaly. Yes, so that's it for the bridge phase as well. So we're on to movement phase. Right, I'll get the German movement done. Right, German movement done. That's what I'd start around Nijmegen. We've got a new reinforcement unit here, paratroop unit, which has just come on, and we've got the artillery flipped. So it's time to have an attack. I think that's probably the best place to do that. Yeah, so we have a 6 defense, and the attack is 7 and 4, 11. So it's a 1-to-1, but there is a shift for artillery support. The artillery unit off the board here, and yeah, so 2-to-1 attack on the paratroopers there. It's a 5 on a 2-to-1, which is a DR. We could go for, and I think we really should go for a determined defence, even though it's woods. Yeah, we got the +1 for the paratroopers. Rolled a 1, which is a failure, so they are definitely retreating. So 2 hexes. Back to the supply, I think. And A DR gives a normal advance, so there is a road bonus, so we can put 1 unit into there, and I think this will happily sit in the town. So there's been a breakthrough there. No determined defence. Okay, it's just not good news for the Allies anywhere, really. Okay, over in Arnhem, so we have an attack by the von Tissau group here, the Yellows, with a borrowed tank unit. Considered looking at attacking that, but I thought no, not this turn. Need to get a bit more angle on it with the other units, so this is the one here. And then we're also going to clear out this unit here. We have an 88 unit has come on in reinforcement. We have, of course, the artillery, which is just off camera there. Right, so let's do this combat first. So we've got 2 in defence versus 6 and 4, 10. So 10 to 2 is 5 to 1 with tank bonus as well. Yeah, so 6 to 1. 6 to 1 is a 4. That's a DMR, so mandatory retreat. So no loss, but I think has to go back to somewhere like that. I'll get this out of supply marker there. Yeah, there's no determinate defence possible there, and there is a DMR. There is actually a bonus advance and a possible breakthrough combat, which is interesting. I think we should certainly move 2 hexes to really enclose. We could look to do an attack on this breakdown unit. It would be a 4 to 1. I just realised actually that was in wood, so you don't get a tank bonus. It would be only a 5 to 1 attack. However, it is still a DMR, so that hasn't actually changed anything. Yeah, so that's our road. We've got 2 and another hex road bonus movement, so we couldn't do the attack. So the Aberwine battalion will attack this this breakdown unit, which is a 4 to 1. With no modifiers. Oops. Can't roll dice anymore. No, that's a biggie, that's a 6. So a 4 to 1. That's a D1, so that unit is removed. That does chew up the rest of the advance. That breakdown unit pops back. And yeah, we have bonus advance from the other units as well. And I think it would probably be here. So that's almost completely overrun the grounds. That's actually not a unit, just a marker. However, there is this Zopbon to take care of, really. So I think we will move that guy there instead. Yeah, just to keep the Zopbon going. And so yeah, so they're really hard pressed up against the river now. It was looking good for a long time. I think the fact that we put a lot of units into Arnhem has meant that around the landing grounds it's really suffered for units to defend properly. Maybe I overdid it. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Anyway, let's do this other combat, which is a 6 in defence and with an attack of 2, 6, that's 10, 10 and 3, 13, 14, 15, 19 and 6, 25 to 6, which is a 4 to 1 and a 5 to 1 with the tank shift and the artillery. That's 4 to 1, 5 to 1, that's a 6 to 1. A 2 on 6 to 1, an A1D1, so that's going to be a loss for the airborne unit and a loss for the, it's not an exchange, so they get a choice, and yeah, possibly that fortress unit. It's not a very powerful unit for attacking, so we will lose that. And then we need a determined defense roll there, so that's in other with a +1. A 4 going to a 5. Right, that is a defense. However, there's a loss on both sides, so the airborne unit actually is removed. It's an eliminated units box, but there's another loss for the Germans as well, and I think we'll lose the ersatz unit. However, that should allow an advance into the hex, which is what we will do here. So again, really bloody combat there. 4 steps lost across the two sides, but ground taken, and yeah, it's, we're now on to almost the city for combat. The Germans, to be fair, have taken a lot of losses here to get into there, so it actually feels kind of right, really, in that it was a hell of a struggle against 1st Airborne, but particularly with the city fighting. The Germans took a hell of a lot of losses, and it was very stubborn resistance, but it's starting to fail now. But there's a long way to go there, I think, to get to the bridge. Right, there are 2 other combats, and I'll just describe the movement I've done over here around the 101st. So we've the unit that was disrupted has moved back out, and this unit's received a replacement. What I've thought about is that instead of worrying too much about the canal anymore, because there's a broad front here, and I don't think even the Panzer Brigade units are going to get to that bridge. We'll hold down here. We also did a replacement here, which annoyingly would add another Fallschirmjäger step, so that those units in the marsh are holding court there quite well. What we've done with the 101st units is actually taken up this road here, and so we're going to have a combat and see if we can get into St. Aldenrode here, and actually create a block at that point. We're going to combine it with an attack from the north as well, so we have the artillery available up in the north. So that's the idea. Everything else has been moving up. So we'll look at this combat first. So this is a defense of 4, and attacking is 13. Yeah, 13. So that's a 3 to 1. With the tank shift is a 4 to 1. The artillery is actually out of range of that. I'm going to use it in defence down here, I think, rather than the attack up there. So it's 4 to 1, including the tank shift there. So let's have our roll. A 2 on a 4 to 1 is a DR. So the unit can retreat, and we'll do that into the town, I think. it wasn't very likely to resist. Well, it was 50-50, but it was almost guaranteed to take another loss on that unit. Mind you, thinking about it, maybe that is an idea. Yeah, I think so. We need to fight for the space now, because the road is just behind. So yeah, we will do a determined defence. I'll change my mind. So that's on the clear column with a +1 for the paratroopers. It's a 2, which, well, it's a retreat anyway. So that's given us the same result. And a DR gives a normal advance. So we could get up the road here. It is bizarre actually is that there's no breakthrough combat, so the supply dump is actually holding back the Panzer Brigade. Yeah. Actually, we may stack those. No, I think we'll split them up. Yeah, that'll be good there. Right, and in the north, big combat here. So 6, 12, 16 to 5 is a 3-1. With the artillery is a 4-1. Yeah, so a 4-1 there is a 2. It's the same result at DR. So again, we'll try and hold. 3 going to a 4 on clear. That's just a miss. So there does need to be a retreat. We also need to use some disrupted markers. So I think it has to stay out of Zoc, has to go here. And a normal advance, but there will be bonus as well, so there will be road bonus as well, so yeah. I think that's good enough. So the road is actually cut, and it's not even the tanks that have done it. It's the infantry from the north. Yeah, just the 101st is just struggling to hold there. Yes, it gets worse and worse. I'm wondering if the time allotted that 30 Corps will actually get over the Weigel Bridge, which is just the picture here. Never mind getting down anywhere near to Nijmegen. It seems it's a tough call. Yeah. Okay. So one thing to note over here, as I forgot to mention here, is I've rewired that bridge. So next bridge phase, if it's still in German hands, we'll attempt to blow it, or if an Allied unit comes near it, we'll attempt to blow it. And that will kind of sort out 11th Armoured. It can't really get anywhere without that particular bridge, as the Helmand Bridge is blown and that bridge is blown. So there's no real pathway for them, certainly for the tanks anyway. Yeah, that's the combat phase. Recovery phase, we can take off these markers. We need to roll for this one because there is a Zoc across the canal. Oh. A 6, so yeah, it does come off. Let's steady the defence there, and I think that's the only disrupted units on the German side. Yeah, okay. Right, so down to supply phase. Can't see any particular problems that the Germans have anywhere. And yeah, the good old traffic marker phase is back. And where shall we put those? It's tricky, really. I think possibly if 11th Armoured need to come back this way, it's possibly worth putting the traffic marker there. And maybe here as well, because the rest of 30 Corps are kind of beyond the traffic marker. They're all kind of lined up. It's difficult to put a traffic mark on a road there more than there already is. We could put one up here, but I don't think it's a blown bridge. I don't think it's really relevant. So yeah, that's the traffic markers. So that is indeed the night turn for September the 19th. No good news really for the Allies. In the morning they get a weather roll, which they really needed to be very, very kind to be able to get some airborne reinforcements in, desperately needed in all sectors really. The poles are available to support 1st Airborne. There's quite a lot of 82nd. As you can see, if you notice that the 82nd isn't exactly a large formation on the board at the moment, so all its gliders are yet to land, so they can come in. And then there's some there's a couple of remaining glider battalions for the 101st to come in as well. It's not to say that won't be welcome either. So yeah, that's turn 8. We're on to turn 9, which is 3 turns from the end next turn. So thanks for watching. As always, send any comments in if you have, and hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see. I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.